Recording in progress.
Yo, what up? What's good, family? It's your boy Trey, Fraser. I got my brother Maestro Styles here with me today.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to another edition of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast, live on your YouTube feed, Facebook, and Twitter. Shout out to all of our people that's watching on those platforms right now. Make sure y'all subscribe to those platforms, and also you can follow us on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. My brother, man, what's good, man? How we feeling today?
Man, we good, man. We good, man. I had a little longer weekend this weekend, man, and I had an opportunity. Did you ever watch the And One, the Rise and Fall of And One on Netflix?
No. That was the most recent one that came out, right?
I know it's on Netflix. I don't know if it was the most recent one or not, but
Okay.
it's definitely on. It was one on Netflix. That was a good little sports doc.
Mm-hmm.
The more interesting sports doc that I was able to watch was Manti Te'o. I finally got to watch the Manti Te'o joint.
Yeah.
And come to find out, I guess I clearly didn't pay enough attention to that story.
Yeah.
The guy who catfished him.
Yeah.
His family, like he had a lot of family members that was in the NFL. That I remember Tui Sopo. He was like a backup quarterback.
Tsui Asasopo. He was with the
like
Raiders.
That. The Raiders. Okay, I
Yep.
remember. I feel like I even remember him playing with the Rams. But that's all the same family.
Yep.
They had in the 80s. Somebody played for the 49ers or something like that.
Oh, snap.
But the guy who actually catfished Manti Te'o is now a transgender.
That's wild.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess, and kind of explained it like, that whole catfish thing was his kind of realization that he didn't want to be a dude.
Yeah.
And that he wanted to transition into being a woman. So
Wow.
it was an interesting watch. Interesting watch.
Yeah. I knew it came out. I just never... and I'm not even sure if I'm really interested in the story or not. But I was aware that it was on Netflix, and I've heard a lot of people talk about it. So, maybe that's something I'll kind of put on my back burner to maybe go watch.
It was an interesting watch. And considering that we were like that's kind of through our cycle of when we probably watch sports the most,
Yep.
or the most involved in it.
Yep.
So it was
remember.
interesting. It was definitely an interesting time. So yeah, but it was pretty interesting. I couldn't get over the fact, and they kept saying, "Hey, we didn't know that before we got into this, we didn't know that he was transitioning to be a transgender." They had to make sure they kept saying that just in case something got confused in their line of questioning.
Yeah. Right.
So
Right.
Okay. But
Okay.
it was definitely interesting.
Okay.
Definitely interesting.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's what's up.
What
That's
about you?
interesting.
How was your week?
My week was good, man. So we've had all this rain the last few days, early last week. So all my kids' practices were canceled. We had the games over the weekend, not this past weekend, but the weekend before. Those games were canceled and some practices were laid off. But on Thursday, Nate went back to practice. Friday, Natalie went back to practice. And Saturday, they both had their games. Natalie's team won 10-0. Nate's team lost 7-4, but it's all good. But it was just nice to see the kids get back out there, man. And, with some nice weather, albeit. I mean, it's getting chilly at night, but throughout the day, man, it gets into those 70s, and you think it's t-shirt weather, but by the time it hits like 6 o'clock, 6:30 at night, bruh, it's time to put the hoodies back on.
Right.
So,
right.
That was cool. Speaking of you watching things on TV, what was that episode of Raising Kanan like on Sunday?
I, 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 I mean, I don't know how much Raising Canaan and how caught up you are, but
I promise you, I'm not that caught up.
I watch the show, so I'm on it every Sunday. I just had I had plenty incentive to watch it around the 2-3 o'clock time.
Yeah.
So I just went ahead and cut it on.
Yeah.
But man,
I saw you give the shout out to Patina Miller, and she is bad. Like she's...
I don't no, but I wasn't even talking about physically. I'm talking about the job that she's doing and how I think the story about to get set up.
Right.
She killing it. She's killing it. Killing it.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I probably need to watch from season 1 all the way up to this point.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Because sometimes, because I have stars now, so sometimes I'll just cut in the middle. Like, if I see it's on, I'll turn it on. But then, I'll watch the storyline, and it's like, nah, I gotta go all the way back.
You gotta start. Yeah, you gotta
to
start
the beginning and stuff.
Yeah, you definitely do.
And plus, my god sister, shout out Clarine, my god sister, because she's a big fan of the show also. We were having a conversation one day, and she was like, Trey, you gotta watch this thing so we can have something to talk about. And every chance I get to try to binge it, something else pops up, so I've been, and I think I've told you, I've watched the Supreme Team documentary over the summer. I also watched the Irv Gotti. It really is a Irv Gotti documentary, but the Murder Inc. 5-part, I think it was 5-part series on BET. So I've been watching those programs more so than anything that's been coming up in regard to Raising Canaan and some of the other shows that's out there. So, but yeah, you're right. I gotta go all the way back to season 1, man. Just so I could at least talk about what's going on and, like you said, what's about to happen in the show. But Patina Miller, she is, from what people have told me and at least the clips that I've seen of her on TV, she is killing it. She's killing that role.
She's destroying that shit.
Yeah.
She's destroying that shit.
Yeah.
She's going. Yeah. Shout out to her.
Yeah. I brought that up because I saw you tweeted her out, and I was like, yeah, he's kind of tuned out of the Buffalo Pittsburgh game, and that's a game you just kind of
burn the tapes.
You throw it away. Yeah, you just kind of throw it away. Remember it, toss it, whatever, burn it, and just kind of move on to the next week.
Yeah, I mean, look, man. I will say this: Kenny Pickett wasn't terrible. He was much better than Mitch Trubisky.
I agree.
So I'll leave it at that. That if I took anything away from that game, is that Kenny Pickett should just play the rest of the year. If there's any confusion, he's our quarterback. He's our quarterback for the foreseeable future, and that James Daniels don't play that shit. And I appreciate that.
So here's the question that's been, and I guess this has been a question for pretty much since the season started, because everybody's on this fire Matt Canada train, and I saw more complaints from this weekend's game about the play calling. So where are you at with it? Are you ready to part ways with the OC?
But I've been ready to part ways with him. I've been it's him. It's not just him. Let me say that. Let me be clear about that. Mm-hmm. It's not just him. And if you're gonna make me go into a deep dive about us getting blown out, I see what you did, and I'll accept it because it was that. It was
I just texted about the OC, bro.
Okay. Yeah, he should be fired. It's at this stage. If we're trying to save our season, I don't feel like Matt Canada is going to add any value to us saving the season. Go ahead, fire him. But wide receivers. Outside of George Pickens, those Claypool and Deontay Johnson, y'all need to be called to the table. I've heard people say Najee Harris ain't 100% cool. If he ain't, then Jalen Warren need to get more snaps. Let's not keep doing this game about trying to stick to who we know. If we're emphatically trying to save the season, if we're not trying to save the season, then I'm cool with what we like. All right, then we'll just do the status quo.
Right. What do you think
But
they're trying to do? Do you think they're trying to save the season?
I believe that Tomlin is of the pride that he would try to save the season. Remember, this time, we remember the 0-4 season when he went 8-4. He finished it to get to 8-8.
Yeah.
So he knows. Shift is here, shift is there, and we can get back on the ball. So I'm thinking that's what he's thinking, and like I said before, I'm gonna ride with my coach.
Yeah, I mean, I even remember the 16 season. Y'all played Dallas, and after the Zeke touchdown run at the end of that game, I think the record was 3-5, and then I think y'all racked off 6, 7 straight or something like that. And then y'all salvaged the season. So yeah, there's been many of these instances where Tomlin has sort of rectified, even though they don't make the playoffs. Some of those years they still finish 8-8, 9-7, and
right.
And in the case last year it was 9-7-1. I'm trying not to confuse the math because it's 17 games, but you get my point. He's been salvaging.
So I'm a ride with my coach who hasn't had a losing season of 16 years. I'm gonna ride with him.
Okay, all right. That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, the team got a win, man. The Ravens got a much needed win on Sunday night. Beat the Bengals. I don't have a lot on the win, but I know there's been this question about going forward on 4th down. Do you take the points? And as that game was 10-13 when we were up by 3 in the 4th, and there was that decision time. Hey, do you kick the points or do you just, try to go forward and just go for the kill? And I let it be known on Twitter and everybody out there who was watching the game that night that Harbaugh taking the 3 points there to go up 16-10 was the right choice.
Okay.
Because at that time, defense was playing well. We gave up only 10 points to that offense, and we know what Jamar Chase and I know T. Higgins was banged up, and they actually took T. Higgins out of the game in like the first quarter, and he really didn't get much playing time after that. Yeah. But the fact that we shut down an offense with that group of receivers, plus, Joe Mixon, kind of got it going in the second half. I mean, he was kind of gashing us in the run game a little bit there. But to hold that offense at 10 points, through 3.5 quarters at that point, again, it's a feel for the game. And you take those 3 points and you go up by 6 with 10 minutes left. If the defense doesn't, get a stop and they do give up the touchdown, that means we're only down by 1 point. And the most important thing, at least for me, is put the ball in Lamar's hands. I want the ball in Lamar's hands to close the game out, because so far through 5 weeks, this defense hasn't proven that they can close games out. So I want my offense to close the game out. So it worked out. Cincinnati did score. They went up 17-16, and Lamar, did what he had to do, get Tucker, just enough field goal range, and, best kicker in the game, drills it. And so I got no issues with the decision. Had we lost the game, I still wouldn't have had no issues with going for the 3 points to go up 16-10.
Right.
I know there's a lot of back and forth on that, but again, it's just a feel for the game, bruh. I mean, that the defense wasn't getting worked like that, the way it was getting worked against Buffalo and Miami.
5 games in, do we believe Cincinnati? As far as when I say believe them, are they a playoff team?
Well, I didn't pick them to go into the playoffs to begin with, and so I kind of got to stick to that and just say, I'm not a believer, but I do think that if you still got Jamar Chase, and if you can get T. Higgins healthy, and Tyler Boyd, and Joe Mixon, I think is a top 5 running back. I think you can get the thing right.
You think he's a top 5 back?
Joe Mixon, yeah. I think he's a top 5. I don't think he's playing like it right now, But
I mean, but why? I don't think. Let me just say no. I don't think he's a top 5 back. I think he had a great year last year, but when has he ever been that good statistically before last year?
well, I'm only basing it off of last year. Last year he was a top 5 running back, and I think he can get to that level again. I think there's just some issues with that team. I mean, offensive line is still an issue for Cincinnati.
This year is he better than Saquon Barkley?
Oh no, no. I wouldn't say that.
This year is he better than Dalvin Cook?
He's not better than. There's about 4 guys that are better than Joe Mixon: Saquon, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Dalvin Cook. Am I missing somebody? I mean, that's 4. You think there's somebody else that's better than Joe Mixon now?
Let me think.
Because Jonathan Taylor's off to a rough start right now.
He's off to a rough start, right?
Yeah, I can't think of anybody right now that you would put there. To knock Joe Mixon out of the top 5.
Right now, I get what you're saying. I'm thinking about it. Austin Eckler?
Yeah, I mean, he's scoring. I mean, he's scoring some touchdowns, but they're not giving him the rock enough, and that run game ain't, going like it should be.
But neither is Cincinnati's.
What's that?
Neither is Cincinnati's, though. And at least, Austin Eckler is scoring.
Right. Well,
hell, Tony. I mean, I ain't watched a whole bunch of Dallas, but Tony Pollard looking.
He looked good against the Rams on Sunday. I mean, he had that long touchdown run, but other than that, I mean, Tony Pollard really hasn't broke out like that.
I'm trying to think who else. I'm trying to do it fast. I promise I'm trying to do it fast.
Yeah, really. I mean, Dalvin Cook, Saquon, Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry.
But I do like Austin Eckler. I think Austin Eckler's playing better than Joe Mixon right now.
Okay.
I definitely think that.
Okay.
But I mean, I won't stretch it. That to me, Austin Eckler is playing better than Joe Mixon right now.
So you're you're thinking Joe Mixon is like 6'7", somewhere in that.
I'm going to concede to that because I can't think of nobody off the top of my head right now.
Because McCaffrey's not really tearing it up right now.
No. I'm really trying to sit here.
Leonard Fournette has kind of been.
Leonard Fournette is definitely playing better football than
you think
Leonard Fournette. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I haven't heard his name a lot, so
yeah, he just went crazy. He just went crazy this past Sunday.
Oh, he did. Okay.
I know because I had to go against him in fantasy.
Oh, gotcha.
Motherfucker scored 30 points.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. And they still only put up 21 points in that game against Atlanta.
Well, I mean, running the ball is good.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah. I mean, Falcons ain't good on run defense, so yeah, it makes sense. But I kind of get your point, though. I
just don't think Joe Mixon's top 5 right now this year.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, right. I just don't think that.
And just to state again, I'm only basing it off of last year, and he is not he hasn't shined.
He's definitely
He hasn't shined this year so far
at all.
But he did have a good second half against us when
I think he had a good second half. I remember the second quarter. I remember his second quarter being pretty decent.
Maybe mid to toward the end of the second quarter.
Yeah, I remember
they started to get it
quarter.
going. Yeah, we were
maybe the top of the third, maybe. But I mean, I don't remember him doing nothing crazy. I doubt he had 70 yards of rushing.
Yeah, because see, what happened was we went zone against them, and they couldn't do nothing with that. So they said let's run the ball and try to loosen the defense up, and it worked. Some of it worked, but we couldn't go man against those guys because it was going to be barbecue chicken all over again.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that because T. Higgins wasn't playing.
Well, that is true.
I don't know if I agree with that, I feel you.
Yeah, we had to do something different, bro. And Marcus Peters had a really great game on Sunday. The dude was making plays all over the field. I am concerned about Marcus Williams because he dislocated his wrist, so now he's on the IR, and so we're gonna miss him for I don't know how long that's gonna be. Kyle Hamilton, the rookie, is going to have to step in and fill those shoes. We're going to see how that's going to work out because Marcus Williams, the first couple of weeks, I think he had 3 interceptions in the first 2 weeks. So, we're going to miss that, and we're just going to have to see how the kid plays out.
Well, the dude that stuck out to me is your slot corner, the Pepe.
Oh, Pepe Williams, yeah.
Yeah, he stuck out.
Had a good game. Good game from him. So, before I get into any other stuff, let me say what up to the chat room here. We got Mocha Bella up in the Facebook Live and the YouTube Live chat.
What up?
Appreciate the support. Also, just want to announce we do have a guest coming in here in about 8 to 10 minutes. She goes by the name of Nikki Gist. For those of you who watch the show and listen to us, we had one of her co-hosts, Damian Adams, on back in June. Host of the 3rd and 3 podcast, which she also does with Damian and another co-host of theirs, and so had a chance to catch a few episodes of their podcast, and I was like, you know what, she's a Giants fan, and the Giants play the Ravens this weekend, and so I thought it'd be cool to just have her hop on for about 40-45 minutes and just kind of talk about the surprise of the year so far is the New York Giants, 4-1, big time win over the Packers. I don't care that it's a neutral field or not. That was their signature win because
so far,
they beat Carolina, they beat the Titans. Some of those wins were a little bit questionable, but they got the signature win, and it looks like the Giants are for real. So, looking forward to having her, talk the talk on the Giants, and I know she also covers them for for a local company up in New Jersey. So we're looking forward to that. What else caught your eye on Sunday, man?
What else caught my eye on Sunday? I'll be honest with you, man. My team is some trash. That's what I'm on, and
Come on, man. Don't go back to that, bro.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, man. That really, and I will talk about another game, but I just want to say that this is the worst team I've ever seen in my life.
The worst Steelers team.
This is the worst Steelers team I've ever seen in my life.
Worse than the 0-4 start from 2013?
Yeah, worse.
Okay.
Worse.
Okay.
Worse. But I do gotta say this. Dallas has the best defense in the league right now.
It's them and it's San Francisco, 1 and 2
Dallas,
respectively.
But Dallas is one.
No. That's what I'm saying. It's 1 and 2
Dallas
respectively.
Dallas is the best. It's just no other way to slice it. I know Rams going through what they're going through, but that pass rush is going crazy right now. For the past 2 weeks, they are going crazy right now. That pass rush. When Dak come back, jeez.
I had to apologize to the Cowboys, man, because I thought it was done, man, and then all of a sudden the defense is doing some historical things, and that's the thing. They got stars on defense. That's the thing about it. Like, that's the difference between what the Niners got, because I think the Niners, and I know Bosa's going to be gone for a few weeks.
Yeah.
But the Niners, I think collectively as a defense, they're getting it done. With a few no-name people, some faces you might recognize, but Dallas, they got stars on defense. That's the big difference there. That's why they're number one for me.
Well, they're number one because they're rushing the passer better. Trayvon Diggs is I'm not ready to go to shut down corner, but I don't think there's a corner on the 49ers squad that's better than Trayvon. I don't think there's a corner on that squad that's better than Trayvon Diggs. On the 49ers squad that's better than Trayvon Diggs.
Right.
There's certainly nobody in that front seven better than Micah Parsons, and you can add Bosa to that. Micah Parsons is, it's enough people in the media gobbling them up, but Micah Parsons is the real deal. In case somebody didn't know,
Right. Right.
That's just the best defense. That line, and I know San Fran got a good line, a good seven,
Yeah.
but the way that Dallas is rushing the passer right now is they going crazy.
Yeah.
They going crazy right now.
Yeah, yeah, and you mentioned the Rams and them going through some stuff, and it's funny how they played the Niners the week before,
Yeah.
and was struggling with some of the same things on offense that they were against the Dallas Cowboys. So look, just to stick on the Rams for a second, my prediction might be right a little bit on this one. I had them missing the playoffs, and they got issues on the offensive line, bruh. And Matthew Stafford, for some reason, doesn't realize that he has Allen Robinson on his roster. And I get that Cooper Kupp is Cooper Kupp, but you got to spread that ball around, bruh.
I don't think
efficient.
I don't think Allen Robinson is getting separation. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't think he's getting separation. It's Cooper Kupp is who they're keying on.
How do you lose that though? Like Allen Robinson going back to Jacksonville and Chicago, like he was getting separation then. Like how do you lose that?
I don't pretend. I know Allen Robinson was good in Chicago.
Yeah.
He was okay in Jacksonville, but he was good in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that Allen Robinson is this do I believe he can be a number one receiver based on what I saw in Chicago? Yeah.
Right.
But I don't know if he's like one of those upper echelon number one wide receivers.
No.
I think he's an elevated. I think he's
a two.
He should be a very good number two, and he's not playing like a very good number two. I don't think that it's Stafford that's not looking for him. Let me say that. I don't think it's that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess
I don't know if
see it
it's
a little differently.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's playbook, not knowing the playbook, or I don't know if it's one of those things that we don't necessarily know all the information about. Like we don't know how privy he is to the playbook. We don't know, but I don't know that it's Matthew Stafford when it comes to Allen Robinson. Higbee's not doing terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like Higbee.
More importantly than Higbee not doing terrible, their third receiver, number 18, is looking more like a number two right now than Allen Robinson.
Right.
Is.
And really he has to, because you got no Van Jefferson there, so they got to dig deep into that, wide receiver depth.
But you would think that Allen Robinson would be in that role. I would think that's
right.
why you picked him up.
Right. And that's why it's baffling why this dude can't get the ball.
Yeah, so I don't know that it's one thing I don't know Stafford to have a history of is not spreading the ball around.
Well,
I know Matthew Stafford to normally spread the ball, even in the Calvin Johnson days. I know him.
Well, and it's Calvin Johnson, right?
Yeah.
You're just going to throw it up to him, and whether he's got a guy guarding him that's the same height as him or short, he going to go up and get it. And I totally get that. But I remember the year that Calvin Johnson left the Lions, and they had like Marvin Jones Jr., Kenny Galladay, and a few other guys, and Matthew Stafford was able to spread that ball around.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't have a history of not being able to spread the ball around.
But it was just for that maybe couple of years that he had to kind of spread that ball around a little bit. I'm not sure when Calvin Johnson was there that was the case. Maybe okay. I'm wrong. Maybe I'm looking at something a little different. But
yeah, maybe.
But those 2 years without CJ, he was definitely spreading it around before he went to the Rams.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think the other game that stuck out to me was last night's game, Raiders and Chiefs. A lot of dumb decisions by Josh McDaniel, and even the Chiefs. The Chiefs kind of was trying to do a little bit too much also, trying to go for two. Both teams went for 2-point conversions, didn't get it. And I totally understand, why each team did it, because, the fear of the other offense.
Do you agree with it then?
I think in hindsight, I'm gonna throw the disclaimer out there.
Okay.
Because I'm not that invested in the two teams per se, but just in hindsight, it wasn't the right decision.
You're not interested in Kansas City?
Well, I'm just talking about from a fan perspective. I'm not
Oh,
saying I'm not interested as in like I'm not gonna watch them. I'm saying like the emotion into watching Kansas City like from like a fan perspective. Like
yeah,
I'm not interested in that regard.
but
But
I would imagine, not to cut you off, I would
yeah,
imagine that you feel good about that you'd be watching Kansas City because you feel like Baltimore is a playoff team.
right, right.
Kansas City, somebody you need to look for,
Yeah, no,
look
like
at.
I said, just to clarify, I don't mean I'm not interested in terms of not watching them. I'm just talking about I'm not a fan of the team, so I'm not going to put as much emotion into whether they make good decisions or bad decisions. Like the
Right.
Ravens do that, then yeah, I'm gonna be throwing tables and tossing chairs and stuff. But with the Chiefs, I'm not doing all that. So, but let's get to our guest here. Welcome first of all. We have Nikki Gist, if I'm saying your last name correct.
Yes.
Good. That's good. That's good. So, welcome to the show. You are one third of the Third and Three podcast, along with Damian Adams and Jason. And we had Damian on here back in June, and he told us the story about how the three of you guys decided to do a podcast amidst the pandemic and kind of how that worked out and everything. And so, I had a chance to listen to a few of your episodes. I watch you guys on Facebook Live every now and then. Wednesday nights, I think you guys come on. So,
Yes.
I check in a little bit every now and then. So I think you guys do a great job with that. Just want to start here. Tell us a little bit about how you got into covering the New York Giants, which is your football team, and we'll talk about them in a little bit. Just talk about how you got into covering the team, and I know you also do some work for the Jersey Sporting News. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, and that's who I do cover the Giants through. So, interesting kind of joined Jersey Sporting News as more of a brand development type of role. And then the opportunity came to cover the Giants for them. And, it's so funny. I call it like skipping the line, right? They
Mm-hmm.
submitted my content and my work. And, so that got approved. And, here we are. So I get to cover them, which has been very cool experience, right? I could have easily started out covering Pop Warner, Red Bank Pop Warner or something here, but to get to cover your team, that you're a fan of, they could have sent me to Philly and be like, hey, cover the Eagles,
Right,
that
right.
west side of Jersey, they're Eagle fans. But so it was very cool, and I appreciate the opportunity that they have given me. So yes, I cover the Giants for them. As you said, I'm one third of Third and Three. To Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock, I do I'm part of Giants Rush, which is a Giants centric podcast. And on Sunday mornings, I do channel side bets. So that's all your betting and daily fantasy. So a lot going on, but it's all good.
Okay. Well, tell us about your introduction to sports. Like, what got you into sports? How to give us a little background on you.
Yeah, so really my dad and I would just kind of sit and watch football games together. And I would just ask him a million questions and remember him, and he would just say to me like, "Well, Nick, keep watching, keep watching. This is going to
Hmm.
pay off one day, right?" And to this day, like obviously your parents are your biggest fan, right? And
Right,
so he's
right.
always watching every podcast I do, every show, and my mom too. But really, it's just like a bond that me and my dad had. And we're still texting. They live about an hour away, so we can't watch every game together, but of course, that family group chat, right? We're all in there texting and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So really props to my dad for teaching me about the game, and
Mm-hmm.
having Sundays together and watching it, and here I am.
No doubt, no doubt. So I want to get into the Giants, and I watched the game against Green Bay on Sunday morning, and I got to admit, and me and Maestro, we kind of briefly talked about it the week before that I didn't think the Giants had a shot in this game. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers, it's Green Bay, And quite frankly, the Giants at that point in the season still had something to prove and to kind of let people know, hey, we're not a fluke, and we were still trying to figure out who the Giants were.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you, this is the upset. Me personally, this is the upset of the year so far. I don't care that it's on neutral field. The fact that you guys were down, I think you guys were down like 17-3, and was able to make that second half surge with Saquon Barkley doing his thing. The defense shut him out in the second half, which was great. Tell me, your thoughts about what you saw.
Yeah. So listen, I also was like, I don't know that they're going to beat Green Bay, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Aaron Rodgers, that's a tall order. That's tough. And hey, Green Bay fans travel really well.
Yep.
I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
know they were the home team, but I mean, certainly sounded like it. I watch every Giants game just like, oh my God, like I'm bracing myself, right? Because I don't know what's going to happen. They always do something stupid. And the past 7 years have been really brutal for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't been great. So, I'm always watching the first half, kind of like, oh my God, what's going to happen? But I have to give credit to Brian Dable. I really, really do. And the coaching staff and the second half adjustments that they have been making, because it is very clear that whatever they are doing, and he said in his press conference yesterday that they don't really do much, right? They just go in there and they talk about a couple observations and then they make their adjustments. But I want to credit him because I felt it this summer being around the team, being in training camp. This was a different type of coach. He was instilling a different type of culture. And this team is gritty. They got fight. They got
Mm-hmm.
grit and they play for each other. They play for that coach and they have all bought in. So I really, really think it's a lot of it has come down to coaching.
I think the biggest off-season acquisition for you guys is my old defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the difference between y'all defense from last year and this year. Y'all blitzing a lot more, and it's like, yep, that's Wink.
Yes. Yes. Now, so let me preface this. I am married to a Ravens fan. So, we kind of got like war going on in the house. This is a bad
Hey,
week here. This is
right.
Mm-hmm.
not a great week. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
when Wink came over to, the Giants, it was like, oh man, wait a minute. I was excited, right? And the players had said all summer in training camp, you have to be very smart to play in a Wink Martindale defense,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Yep.
Because those looks, he's changing it up, he's confusing you. And my concern was these are, we didn't have a lot of depth on defense, and these are really young kids trying to learn a Wink Martindale
Yep.
defense. So that was my concern. And the first couple of weeks, it was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, they all said they were so excited to play in an aggressive defense.
Mm.
Yeah, I can understand the concerns given also y'all didn't bring back James Bradbury and y'all
Mm.
lost him to the Eagles
Ugh.
because I thought he played, some pretty good ball for y'all last year.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
for
he
sure.
did. Heartbreaking when it has to go to a rival, right? One of your
Yeah.
great players is like, oh man.
And the rival's undefeated right now.
Oh, I know. I know. But
So
see,
good.
everybody's sleeping on the NFC East. I told
Yeah.
everybody not to.
Yeah, no, yeah, we actually had a conversation with a Giants fan earlier, and we kind of looked down the schedule, and he ain't have no hope, and me and Trey was looking at the schedule like, well, y'all look like y'all could be doing pretty good by the middle of
Mm-hmm.
the season, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean 6-2 was not like a reach just looking at the schedule when we looked at it before the season.
Yeah.
What are your projections now that they're kind of, and I get that we're week 5, week 6, but what are your kind of projections, your hopefulness? Like, what do you think you doing in the East with Dallas and Philly?
Yeah. So in the summer, I had gone on my podcast and said, don't sleep on the Giants. I had them at about 9 wins. And my joke was that Daniel Jones was going to do just enough to get that contract extension,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm.
and everybody came at me and said, no, Nikki, you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. And I said, no, 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 I'm going to hold to the 9-win prediction. Well, I mean, looks like I might be right here. I mean, we're already 4 wins in. So, and I did write an article this summer saying don't sleep on the NFC East. Like, I think they're going to turn it around. And
Yeah.
aside from the
Mm-hmm.
Commanders, what do we got? 4-1, 4-1, and the Eagles are
5-0.
undefeated.
5-0. Yeah.
Yeah.
Best
So,
division in football right now.
eating each other, right? And it's usually the
Mhm.
AFC North that's like, you just
Mm-hmm.
can't get any breathing room in that division. So
Yeah.
it's interesting, and I don't think people thought it was going to come from the NFC East this year.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, kind of to reference the schedule that Maestro's talking about. What do we
Mhm.
say? That we had the Texans, the Seahawks, the Lions, and the Jags. Like, I think those are the four. Those were the four games that we pointed to and said, "Hey, y'all can go 3-1, maybe 4-0 during that stretch after y'all get through this rough part here."
Yeah, now we like you said, we definitely had them losing to Green Bay.
Yep.
But
Mhm.
see, now that y'all didn't lose to Green Bay, now it's like, all right, and by mid-season, we might have to give you another win because y'all beat Green Bay, and man, I'm interested to see how it ends for you guys, but I do want to talk about Saquon Barkley
Yeah.
because you got the I don't is it just it happened for him, so it's happening for him now. I just want to hear you speak to Saquon Barkley and why it's happening right now. For outside of the obvious reason he hasn't been injured. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fingers crossed. When he had that shoulder injury on Sunday, I was like,
Yeah.
no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no.
And I'm
Right?
glad he
It's
got back in the game too.
Yeah. I mean, even with the Ravens, I think you guys just put what your 10th person on IR or something. I mean, the injuries. I
Yeah.
feel like every year, not to derail the conversation, but I feel like they're just stacking up more and more
Yeah.
every year, and it's really hard. So depth is really important. Scouting is really
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Um, in terms of Saquon Barkley, so again, I was like harping all summer. He's back. He's back. I see it at camp, right? I'm standing right there. I'm watching it. The explosiveness is back. The quickness is back. That burst is back. And everyone's like, no, I don't think so, Nikki. No. I'm like, okay, well, I'm there. I'm there. I'm
Yeah.
watching it, right? And he had did an interview and he had said that he was just mad, right? And he wasn't mad at the noise or at the media. He was mad and frustrated about how long it's taking to get back to the player he could be. He was frustrated with the rehabbing process and the practicing. And obviously, we can all relate to that, right? I mean, it's not
Yeah.
easy to come back from an injury. So he was mad. He was ready to go. He said he was in a healthy and happy place. And you could just see it. If you were around the team and watching, you could just tell this man's got this fire back, like he's going all in. And he said, that's it. I'm proving everybody wrong. Everybody's doubting me. F the noise. And he said,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have a big year. And so far, I mean, he's showing up.
Low key in the MVP race, and certainly in most, I would imagine, certainly in the most improved conversation for certain. Or comeback player. I'm sorry,
Comeback.
comeback player. I'm
Yep. He was
sorry,
my
comeback player.
prediction for comeback player of the year.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah. So let me just get straight to it. I know you've been having a tough week at home,
Yeah.
and it don't seem like Trey is going to make it any easier on you. But I will say this:
Uh-huh.
I smell an upset.
Uh-oh.
I smell it. Now I want to know how you feel about it, but I'm smelling Saquon Barkley having a career type of game this
A
Sunday.
career type of game.
I'm smelling
Not just
that
a normal game. Not just
not,
he just
not,
run 400
not
yards
like
on
your,
us.
not like your normal 125. Like I'm smelling like all like a 200 all-purpose. Like I'm smelling that kind of game.
Oh man. Well,
I don't want to jinx you. I don't want to
Yeah.
jinx it.
Listen, it's going up against the Ravens in general is always tough, right? The run defense is tough. Now they are giving up the big plays, right? I would actually say the big day is probably going to come from big play Slay, right? Because they are giving up, you get a little, of course I'm watching it and I'm like,
Yeah.
you think the Ravens have it in the bag. And then all of a sudden, what happens?
Yep.
Yeah,
Please
Yeah.
enlighten me. What happens?
They've been slipping. These fourth quarters
Giving up
through
leads.
through week
Yeah.
5. Yeah, I mean we won the game against Cincinnati, but we still gave
up
a
a
10-point
10-point
lead up.
Yeah.
It's
know?
So the Ravens let me see, I have it right here. Okay, they've given up 216 yards per game.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So I think that Darius Slayton's going to have a big day. He's also probably the only wide receiver out there for them to throw to right now. I
Right.
don't know
Yeah.
who
Right.
else.
I do want to talk about
Not.
that though,
Yeah.
because Kenny Galladay is a disappointment,
Oh,
and I don't know what the hell's happened with him since he came from Detroit, but it just seemed like, the dude is just not fitting in with the team. I don't know if he just comfortable with the money he got, from playing in Detroit. What's the deal with Kenny Galladay?
yeah. I wish I knew. I wish we all knew. I will say this. I did request all summer to have a one-on-one interview with him just to kind of talk. It was never granted. He didn't want to do it. He came to
Mm,
the podium one time this year. And he had said that he needed to work on his 50-50 and he needed to work on the jump ball. And then he said that New York fans have not seen the real Kenny Galladay.
mm,
Okay. Then you
Yeah.
tell the press a couple weeks ago that you should play regardless. It doesn't matter. You want to play.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, you play and you're dropping balls. You can't get a first down. Now listen, he was never the type of receiver to get separation, right? I think everybody knew that. So
Yeah.
I
Right.
think, Daniel Jones is not Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford was good for that garbage time TD to him, in Detroit.
Yep.
I don't think he ever really fit here. Okay. I think it was a panic signing by Dave Gettleman. I don't think the chemistry was ever there with Daniel Jones. And, it still isn't there. So now he's got this ankle issue. It's a $72 million mistake.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's a very hated
Yeah.
man in New York right now.
Yeah, I bet, and with the rest of the receiving core too. When
Mm-hmm.
we'll get back to the game, but just Kadarius Toney, who looked like a promising young guy that can fly down the field, but he's suffering injuries also, and now you got to dig deep into the depth of this wide receiver core. What's the kid? Reggie Lewis Jr. What's the kid name?
Oh, Richie James.
Richie James. I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
don't know why I got Lewis
Yeah.
from, but yeah, you got him. Darius Slayton has kind of been brought up from the fifth receiver to now the number one in some cases.
Yep.
Like y'all got some challenges at receiver.
Yeah. No, it's are you guys available to play? Sunday, I feel like we need somebody.
Hey Maestro, go ahead, man.
I'm no good. I'm no good.
All right.
I've been stretching my back all night.
No good. Better than Kenny Galladay?
Yeah.
I bet you guys are better than Kenny Galladay.
Man, would he probably run like a 4.4? I probably run
Yeah.
like a 6.9.
Hey, you might be able to catch a touchdown at least.
If I can get there,
You can get there. Can you get a first down? Can you
I
get a
think
first-
my arms
Hey.
ain't that long. My
Hey,
arms,
just put him at the goal line. He'll be able.
yeah,
to
I'm good for the goal line. I'm
Okay,
Put him at
good.
the
good for
goal
the goal
line.
line.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
good for the goal line. I think Saquon. I think, and I get it. Obviously, that would mean that the Ravens should key on Saquon Barkley. I totally understand. I just feel like there's nothing that they're going to be able to. There's nothing they're going to be able to do. I feel it. I just feel it. I feel the energy. I feel it. I feel it for y'all. And it's not about Pittsburgh being 1-4. It's not about that.
Yeah, it
my
is.
Team is,
It's
my
okay
team
to
is
say
bad.
that. It's
my
okay,
team is
man.
bad. My team is bad. My team is bad. So it's not about that. So it's not about that. I just feel it's going to be different. And talk about the Giants coming off of a statement game against the Packers. Them beating Baltimore, having two, man.
The narrative will change. Like
I will be having a fun podcast next week.
the narrative, look, the narrative will change just nationwide. In regard to the Giants if they beat the Ravens. And I'll be honest with you, because we've had some battles, over the years. Obviously, the Super Bowl in 2000. Yeah, I'm sorry, I hate to bring that up, but
Sure you do.
Oh man, yeah, I know. Sure.
but I'll say this though, because the last couple times y'all came to Baltimore, we handled y'all pretty well, but I sometimes I be thinking about 2008. And all I could see is Ed Reed just getting knocked off by Brandon Jacobs in that one game, and then a few years later, Odell Beckham catching a slant and going to the house. No. We've had a couple of bad trips to the Meadowlands in the past couple of times we played the Giants there. So and we got to go there on Sunday. So you might be onto something, but if we can key in on Saquon Barkley, I mean, we basically have stopped the Giants. That's just kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, and I'll give Daniel Jones this. He is no Lamar Jackson by any means, but he can run, okay? He was like our leading rusher for a few weeks there. Listen, I've been to every Giants Ravens game. Unfortunately, it's been painful. I would like to walk away Sunday with a win for many, many reasons. It's if we beat Green Bay and then go home and beat the Ravens, you're right. The narrative will change. And I don't want any bandwagon jumpers. Everybody who came at me and said I was crazy. No, I don't want to hear from you. Nope. I'm blocking you. I'm muting that noise. I don't want to hear it. I think then you can say this team is for real, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think you have to.
Nikki, I got a question though. I've noticed, and I think it goes back to the Saints-Vikings game in London the previous week. And I know in the past that whichever team took that trip to London to play that game, they would get the bye week the week after just to rest from the whole jet lag stuff. Now I'm seeing it where they take the trip to London, they play the game, and then they come home, and right next week, they're right back at it playing the game. How much of that do you think you have a concern about with them coming back from overseas and now they got to go right back to it and play a game right on Sunday?
Yeah, so the stat was there have been 7 teams who did not take the post-London bye.
Yeah.
Of those 7 teams, 2 of them were underdogs going into their game, and they're 0-2. So yeah, of course I'm concerned. Listen, the Giants don't always play great at home, which is weird. Their home record's not great. And yeah, it's very concerning that they would be jet lagged. But then I'm thinking like maybe they're amped up, right? Brian Dable's got them amped up. He's dancing in the locker room. They just beat Aaron Rodgers. Like maybe bring on Baltimore and Lamar Jackson. But my concern is Lamar Jackson. Like no one wants to go up against this dude. Like I'm like, oh my God, like he's going to torch us.
Yeah, he's a problem. He's a problem. For sure. Definitely. What about the defense? For the Giants, because they've kept the team in games, particularly against the Titans, Carolina. I mean, really, all these games, the defense has really been, keeping this team afloat. What about the defense that sticks out to you, other than what we talked about with Wink and the scheme and everything?
Yeah, so was it last week they held Jones and Dillon to 97 yards. So. And of course you think like Baltimore's going to want to run this ball, right? Open up the passing game a little bit. So I think the Giants are going to take that away. I don't know that the run game is going to be that successful for either team, actually. So I just think it's going to be a little bit tough. But for the defense, again, like I said, I was very concerned about depth. I still am. We have like Darnay Holmes. He's kind of back and forth. But hey, and I was very hard on Tay Crowder, and he's starting to come into his own. And Thibodeau's really I know everybody's worried about Thibodeau, but he's a rookie. Okay, he missed the first couple of weeks. This is like his 3rd game. He's starting to come into his own too. So I think for me, it's just letting these guys actually get on the field that were injured, letting these rookies play and giving them time to gel. I mean, a lot of it is just chemistry, but they get amped up and they fight. And I love the play calling. I love the defensive schemes that are being called. So, I'm concerned about injuries, though. I feel like this can be like a black and blue game.
Yep. Nope, I agree. Go ahead.
How do you think they're going to contain? What are their plans to contain Lamar Jackson?
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you, right? I mean, you study film, you look at what other teams have done, you try to use that blueprint, you work with what you have on your team. I don't know. That's a really big concern. Who can contain Lamar Jackson?
So here's something I think you're going to be wrong about, and you said this earlier in your predictions for the season. Daniel Jones getting a contract extension. We spoke with a Giants fan on our platform a few months ago, and one of the things he wanted to see was he wanted to see Tyrod Taylor, get some playing time because he doesn't believe in Daniel Jones. He doesn't think he's the guy. The Giants are going to move on from him. But then we explained to him, we said, well, if you want the Giants to win, then that means that you're probably going to continue to see Daniel Jones because that's going to mean that Daniel Jones is at least being efficient at the quarterback spot. Mm-hmm. With that being said, you think they're really going to give him that kind of money in this kind of market?
Okay, so here's the thing. What other option do you really have? You know what I mean? It's like this team, and I'll call it rebuild for wording purposes. I go ahead and say they've been rebuilding for 4 or 5 years at this point.
Yeah.
How many times are we going to do this? And here's my thing with Daniel Jones. I've been very, very critical of him. I'm not the biggest fan, but really, if you take a step back and look at it, how do you judge this kid with no receivers, not a great offensive line?
That's fair.
Evan Neal's having rookie growing pains. He's also hurt. It's just tough to judge him. I think, let's give the kid a fair shake. And John Mara did come out and say last season, we never addressed this offensive line. We haven't given him the tools to be successful. You also had no Saquon Barkley last year. So for me, it's tough. It's tough to judge. And if he can do this with no talent, I think he deserves it. And this is coming from somebody who's not a real big Daniel Jones fan.
So when you say worth it, we're not talking. What do you think his contract looks like, especially considering that, if I'm not mistaken, Saquon Barkley is playing for some money as well?
He's playing for money. Yes, he is. See, you know what the thing is? The Browns have gone and ruined the quarterback contract for everybody. You look at Lamar Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Lamar's contract didn't get done. I mean, they're going to want guarantee. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. And it's just, unfortunately, it's like that's the going rate. And this is like the new standard, right?
Yeah.
And, if the Browns organization is a little questionable here, but I mean, if you're going to give Deshaun Watson that, and he's not even, when's he playing? December?
Right,
I mean,
December,
of course everyone's going to want their money. So, do I think any quarterback is really worth all of that? No, but would he have earned a contract extension? Yeah, I think so. You're going through three different head coaches, 3 different offensive in 4 years.
Yeah.
In 4 years. So it's tough to judge when he really doesn't have anything to work with.
Now, to my understanding, I'm sorry, Maestro. They didn't accept his option at the final year of his contract, right?
Correct.
So he's basically like on a lame duck kind of a year at this point, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yep.
Jeez. So we really see. So just for clarity, we could see him making, let's say, $220 million guaranteed.
I mean,
jeez.
I mean, you could, right?
Yeah.
We've seen some crazy deals go
and are the Giants willing to pay that?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's crazy money. I know. Jeez. I'm not saying Daniel Jones should get that, but I'm saying that, Cleveland kind of really changed the bar for a lot of this. Lamar Jackson should absolutely get it, because if you ask me who the MVP is, where are the Ravens without him?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
It's 80% of the offense.
And I feel like every time the Ravens win, that price goes up, up, and up.
Oh yeah, I think he's gonna get $300 million. That's what I'm throwing out there. And he'd be worth it.
But Maestro, to your point, and we talked about this weeks ago, we're talking about the guaranteed money that Deshaun Watson got, which is what, the 230 or the 250? I don't remember which.
234, 235.
Yeah.
I personally think that the guaranteed money for Lamar should go north of that. Now, it's up to the Ravens to break that out, whether it's you give him 5 years, $300 million, and he still gets more guaranteed money than Deshaun Watson, but if you're the Ravens, you can still at least spread that thing out a little bit. You know what I mean? Don't give him the 4-year, 300, give him the 5-year 300. And then you can kind of break it out however you want to break that out.
I don't know. Deshaun Watson took 5 years or 4?
He took 5 years.
Five.
He
Oh,
took
he took 5.
He took 5.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Without no argument. I don't know about 5. I don't know about 5 years nowadays. I just don't know about 5 years nowadays. I don't know about it. Like, why would you take 5 years?
Yeah,
why?
it's crazy because Patrick Mahomes took what 8 years, right?
Yeah, but he took 10. But we know what that is. Like, he's
Sure.
the reason. He's the reason why really all of this foolishness is going on. Not that he don't deserve it, but I'm just saying he's the reason that this foolishness is going on.
Yeah.
So we're clear on that. But I don't see a quarterback of Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott in some respects. Like, nobody, I wouldn't be taking no 5-year deals. I wouldn't be taking no 5-year deals because we know money, because we know how the money about to go up in the economy.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be taking no 5-year deals. I guess the last thing that I have is, can I get it? I don't know if you're a score person, but I do want to know what you think is going to happen overall, so the record is shown this Sunday.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I will. I'll give you my score, my prediction. Much as I want to pick the Giants, Lamar Jackson is a perfect 12-0 against NFC East teams. Now, law of averages is like, okay, a loss is coming somewhere. I just don't think it's going to be this Sunday. So I have the Ravens winning. I have it 24-17. So I think take the Ravens cover, and take the under.
Man, we're on the same page. I actually had the same score in mind. I did think that this would be that type of game, not a shootout or anything like that, but just a low scoring thing where it kind of goes a little bit back and forth. Defense might, make me nervous in the fourth quarter again. Who knows? But I think the team pulls it out.
Yeah.
I just don't. For me, if you shut down Saquon Barkley, and I don't want to use the word shut down because I don't think you're really shutting him down. But if you can contain Saquon Barkley, I think you can contain the rest of that offense. Darius Slayton doesn't scare me. The other kid doesn't scare me at all. Daniel Jones doesn't scare me, and I know he can run and everything. But I'm sorry. If there's one thing that scares me, of that team is that Wink Martindale has the inside scoop on the offense for the Ravens. He's been in the building for so many years. He knows the scheme. He practices against it while he was here in Baltimore. That would be the only thing that would scare me, is if he somehow found a way to just be like, okay, Lamar, we're not gonna give up these running lanes. We're gonna make you throw from the pocket, and see if you're really about that life.
And he will, right? You have to assume that that's his plan, because it's not like Lamar's the greatest passer, right? And, now granted, I've seen many Ravens receivers just dropping balls like it's, no big deal.
Yep.
But, if you have to give a knock to Lamar, he has to work on his accuracy, and that's, but you see the improvement. But to the flip side, the Ravens know exactly what Wink is planning to do. So I think it's going to be this is going to come down to defenses and coaching.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Certainly agree with that. I got one last thing for you before we send you up out of here. Give me your top 5 Giants of all time. You've been a fan of the team for so long. Who are your favorite Giants of all time? Top 5.
Yeah, so I did my list. We're gonna say 5 that are not LT, right, and not like these guys from the 70s that wasn't born yet. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what I like.
I respect that.
I like that. Yeah.
Okay, so okay, all right. I have Chris Snee, right? One of the best guards that this franchise has ever had.
Okay.
Justin Tuck, but I kind of feel like I had to go Tuck and OC Umenyiora because they were just this is like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
It's just perfect together. That chemistry.
Critical in those Super Bowl wins. Sean
O'Hara is definitely a favorite staple on that Giants offensive line. Michael Strahan, number 2. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, obviously. Had to be. And of course, my number 1, who I did get to meet over the summer, Eli Manning. I mean, Anybody who knows me, watches me, knows I will fight anybody on the Eli Manning Hall of Fame argument. Every fantasy team I'm in
I
the
was just
team
about to
name
ask
is
you.
Eli Man is the Manning. He's the best. He's my favorite.
I was just about to ask you because I felt like this for a long time. He's getting in the Hall of Fame because of his last name. I don't believe.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't. When you look at his career and look, there's something about beating an undefeated team in the Super Bowl. There's something to be said about that. So I got to give him his props for that. I mean, that was historic. That was one of the more historic teams in the league, and he knocked that team off. So I got to give him props for that. Aside from the fact that he's got 2 Super Bowls and this playing streak, this consecutive game streak where he almost threatened to beat out Brett Favre in that regard. But at the end of the day, when you look at the stats, when you look at his play, to me, he was never like year in, year out. He was never that top 5 guy.
He was mid.
Yeah.
He was. But I don't put him in for his name. Any quarterback who was the starting quarterback and had a significant impact into winning 2 Super Bowls, you got to put him in the Hall of Fame. That's just what that is for me. Now, I do think he mid as a quarterback all the way around. But it's cool. It's cool because if you win 2 Super Bowls, and no matter how I feel about the Tyree throw, and no matter how I feel about the Manningham throw in both of those selective games, no matter how I feel about them, they came off of his hand and hit those other receivers' hands, and he won 2 Super Bowls. So that's why he's in the Hall of Fame. But I definitely think skill-wise, he's a mid quarterback.
All right.
But he is a Hall of Famer.
I get when people say he's like, nah, he's pedestrian. I get all that. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to walk around with the Mike Greeny argument, and I'm just going to play it for people because here's the thing. You know what is crazy about the Hall of Fame? There's really no criteria, right? It's like we all make up our own criteria. Yeah. And for me, availability is the best ability. This man, I mean, they called him Iron Man for a reason. And you can't tell me he's not Iron Man when he got his ass beat in that San Francisco game, the NFC Championship game. Yeah. So, I mean, you want to talk tough. I mean, how many quarterbacks around the league like get a hangnail or, you know, their ankle and they're not available for 6 weeks? Yeah. Or you got Deshaun Watson doing stupid shit with, you know, God knows who.
She's fighting now.
Keep going. I love it.
And he ain't available to December. I mean, so not only that, Eli Manning's a classy guy, and he's never going to embarrass an organization or himself. And here's my thing. You cannot put Tom Brady on this pedestal. He can't be the dragon. And then you slay the dragon twice, and then you say, oh, no, you can't be in the Hall of Fame. You're getting in because of your name. No, you can miss me with that noise. And you
I like it. I like it. I like it. Nope. I can't believe how dare you say his name. How dare you? How dare you?
Man, I love it. I love it.
She ain't cussed the whole show until we said
yep. I love it.
I love it.
That's the one. Usually everybody gets me at some point in their show, and it's like either Eli or Kenny Galladay, and that's it. It's a wrap now.
That's what's up.
And I will be there when he gets inducted. And I say this on 3rd and 3, right? Because Damian and Jason are the same way. I said, I'm paying for it. Everybody's coming. We're going to have a big Eli Manning celebration. I'm going to be right there. I'm going to do a live podcast. Yeah.
I know that's right.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
I know that's right. Nikki, we appreciate you. We appreciate you for coming on. Before you go, just go ahead and plug your shows for us. Everything you got going on.
Yeah. Okay. So Tuesdays at 6:30 is Armchair Athletics. It's the Trenches. It's a reality football show that streams live. Tuesdays at 8, we have New York Giants Rush, which is Giants centric. Wednesdays, of course, 3rd and 3, and Sunday mornings at 11:30, Channel Side Bets. So that is betting against the spread. And if you follow my Giants betting, I have a perfect record so far. So I think you should listen to me on this show. Take the Ravens, the points, and take the under. So that's Sunday at 11:30.
Man, you're doing a lot of things. So you're doing another show after this, and you're doing something, and you did something before you came on. So
I did something before. You guys have one after. one on Wednesday, and then my show on Sunday. Yes.
That's
Well,
what's up.
we certainly appreciate your time. You know, we really enjoy having you on here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate. I had to, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Giants, Ravens. I had to. You guys are the best, and anything that I can do to support you guys, you let me know.
No
I
doubt.
appreciate you.
Appreciate
You.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Good night.
All
Good
right.
night. Be
You
safe.
guys.
All right.
All right.
You too. Be safe. All right, folks. That was Nikki Gist of the Third and Three podcast. Make sure you follow her on Twitter. She's got all kinds of stuff going on with the Giants, and you know that was dope, man. That was
Yeah, that's what's up.
That was a cool guest spot right there.
That's what's up.
Let me say what up. We got Country Roads. We got Mo Cheese in the building here. YouTube,
What's happening? What's happening?
YouTube live chat. Appreciate you, man. So can we talk about Draymond and Jordan Poole, man?
Hey, man. Hey, bruh.
What's good?
I don't know. Hey, Jordan Poole. Hey, bruh, you should have known better, bruh. You should have known better, bruh. You should have known better, bruh.
Yeah.
Don't look. People get in each other's face all the time, and I feel you. You don't want him in your personal space. You don't want him in your personal space, but don't push him and think
Yeah.
that this ain't about to be. Unless if you ain't ready to squabble,
Yeah.
then you need to go ahead and hold the hot breath.
Yeah. He didn't keep his guard up.
He didn't put his guard up.
Yeah.
He didn't put his guard up.
just-
Hey, look, I don't want to hear Draymond was wrong. I don't care if he was wrong. If you push me and you ain't fighting, you getting stolen your face. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't care if I got in your personal space. I meant what I did, but I could be in your personal space and we can have a conversation. You putting your hands on me means you want to fight.
Yeah. Yeah. He wasn't ready. He got caught napping.
He didn't think he was going to get stolen in his face, and he got stolen in his face.
He got caught napping. What do you think that was all about? Like
I have no clue. I know I've been hearing conversations about Jordan Poole since he got his contract. His whole attitude has changed and all those types of things. But then I've also heard somebody combat that with he's always been this way.
Yeah.
But and I don't know how many times he's been stolen in his face or approached about his attitude. So I don't know. What I do know is that they was mouthing off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is just me kind of narrating it in my head from the video.
Yep.
He was mouthing off, and Draymond said, "Hey, shut your fucking mouth." I know this is not what actually happened. We can't hear the audio.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, stop playing with me. Who you talking to? Mm-hmm. That's what I feel like happened. Stop playing with me.
Right.
Who you talking to?
Right.
Because I don't know who you think I am, but I'm not these other niggas. And Jordan Poole should have been known that Draymond Green ain't one of them other niggas.
Yeah.
So, all right. Jordan Poole tried to play it cool, get off me, push. I'm like, oh, like he was just one of these other dudes. And nah, you hey, how many I've had many disagreements with somebody in my face. If I'm not ready to fight, I'm not finna put my hands on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Period.
I mean, the option there is, hey, you just back up, you just walk away.
Back up.
You back up, you walk away.
Bruh.
You know
what I'm saying? But he pushed him like he wanted smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything, if he wanted smoke, he should have stole Draymond in his face.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Period.
So I got this off of Twitter, and I'm not sure how much truth there is to this, but this is according to some sources. And I do want to credit who posted it, but I don't have that handy with me. But according to this, it said that Jordan Poole was telling teammates of how he was going to spend his, money from his contract extension, right?
Okay.
So he was telling teammates how he's going to install a pool at his house. You get it? Jordan Poole.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I'm going to call it the Jordan Pool because it's going to be the GOAT. And everyone can come swim in my Jordan Pool as soon as I get paid. And so they said teammates kept getting tired of the joke. And then when he refused to stop telling it, Draymond approached him and was like, yo, you got to find some new material. Like, you can't keep telling the same, joke all over again. So,
okay.
So I don't know how much truth there is to that. This was actual text that I pulled from Twitter.
Okay.
According to some sources. So I don't know how true that is.
Well,
But,
that's still in, and not to cut you off, that still sounds like in context what I just said.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, stop playing with, and then Jordan Poole said something slick when he told him get new material.
Yep.
And then ensues my version of the story. Like, what? Like who you talking to?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I could believe that. I mean, I don't, obviously I don't know none of them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But to kind of add or say I'm going with you on that story, you notice nobody really tried to break this up.
Oh no.
As if this was something that now I don't want to say
I'm not surprised at it either.
Yeah, but normally when you have a team situation, before it gets crazy,
Yep.
a coach, a player, somebody would get in the way. Hey, nah, we ain't doing
Right.
that.
It was as if the teammates said, "Hey, he deserved that because we got tired of the same thing too."
It would seem that way. It would seem that when Draymond was telling him some good shit, like, "Hey, you gotta chill with that," Jordan Poole caught offense, and Draymond was like, after Jordan Poole said whatever that made Draymond walk to his face, like, "What you doing?" Players, I mean, teammates and staff around was like, "Yeah, like, nah, let Draymond handle that."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you notice after he snuffed him, he tried to hold him up, to keep him from falling, all the way back. Like, you noticed that, right?
Hey, he stole the dog shit out of Jordan Poole, Slim, and Jordan Poole did not see it coming.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not here to question whether Jordan Poole can fight or not. That's not what I'm going to question.
Yeah.
What I'm here to question is that Jordan Poole ain't no slow motherfucker. He played for the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
But he ain't see that hand. He ain't see them hands coming, which means he didn't expect them hands that he ain't expected coming.
Yeah.
He didn't see that shit coming.
Well,
he thought I'm Jordan Poole, or I mean, I hate to be the young nigga, old nigga guy, but these young niggas don't be thinking. I'm not saying this is Jordan Poole, but these niggas don't be thinking that people fight no more.
Hey, he learned he learned what F around and find out means.
Jordan, I mean, not Jordan Poole, but Draymond is around, he our age. Like he kind of like our energy.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, Slim, we still fight.
Yeah, definitely. So I've heard the craziest or the silliest take on the whole situation here. So obviously the video comes out. Someone from the Warriors or someone who works for the Warriors in their video department leaked the video. Actually, let me take that back.
The TMZ.
TMZ leaked the video, but TMZ paid $2.3 million to get that video.
Yeah.
And just because I got two takes on this. Number one, whoever got that money from TMZ got the bag. And you know what? Hey, I get fired. If the Warriors fire me, I got my $2.3 million.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, y'all can criticize the guy or whoever, put the video out there. You can criticize him, but at the end of the day, somebody was looking for a bag. They got the payday. TMZ was ready to put that money up, and dude lost his job.
And
he got 2.3.
We know he lost his job.
I think he lost his job. I think
so we know who the dude is.
We don't know who he is.
I don't think TMZ. I don't think
TMZ
did.
I take that back. I take that back because the last thing I heard about what the Warriors were doing was that they were going to conduct an investigation internally.
Right.
But I think we know how this is going to end. They're going to find out who reached out to TMZ, and they're going to fire him.
I don't know that he gets caught.
Really? Okay.
I don't know that. I'm not predicting that he doesn't.
Right.
I don't know that he doesn't get caught.
Interesting.
That he gets caught. I don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that he gets caught. I mean, obviously he can get caught. I mean, I'm 50-50 on him getting caught.
Right.
But
and I don't think he would care. Whoever it is, I don't think they would care.
I think he could find work at the salary he was getting. Even if it ain't in the NBA, I think he could find work with the salary he was getting, and still be 2.3 up. That's what I think.
I was gonna say that man ain't working no more. If TMG just broke you off 2.3 million, you ain't working no more.
2.3 ain't a lot of money. Nah, you still got to work.
Well,
No, you still got to. Nah, you
well,
got to get a job.
it depends. It depends on what he does with it. If he goes all out,
First of
expensive
all,
cars, expensive houses, then yeah, it's not enough. But
first of all, taxes is going to hit.
sure,
First of all, I mean, and let's assume the dude is 30. Let's assume he's 40.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, 2.3 ain't gonna get it. And of course he's gonna do some things. Of course he might not go ball out of control and buy
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But of course he's gonna do some things. I mean, you would assume he's got debt because most people in America do.
Worst case,
he's got
Worst
like,
case, he might just lay off of work for a little bit. He might take it easy for a little bit.
He might take a hiatus
and then
a
get back
sabbatical.
into the workforce.
He's definitely working. You give me 2.3 million, I'm not about to quit my job.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you. I wouldn't quit either. I wouldn't quit, but in this situation, he gonna get fired if he get caught.
Well, I mean more to say that I'm not gonna not work because I have 2.3 in the bank. That's not a That's
I feel you. We on the same page. I wouldn't quit if
I don't think he would. I don't think especially because he's in California. Taxes high as shit out there.
Yeah, and in San Francisco, it's mad expensive. Out
there. He ain't. But, he hit a lick for sure though.
But my other take to this is that I think this idea that Draymond Green should be suspended for this, I think is crazy. And here's why I think it's crazy. We just saw Aaron Donald in training camp try to bust a nigga in the head with his own helmet.
Yeah.
And the league was like, we'll let the Rams handle it. And
sweep
the
it
Rams
up under the rug.
Yeah, right. So in this case, let the Warriors handle it.
Yeah.
NBA, just stay out of it. Let the Warriors deal with it. And if the Warriors want to do something suspense-wise, then let them do it. But
I don't think they're doing it either.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to do it. I know Draymond said he's going to take a few days away from the facility. That's cool. Let him do that.
And he apologized. He apologized.
Right. He's still going to do his podcast. He might even talk about the incident. Who knows? I mean, he already talked about it at the presser. So he's probably not going to do that, but he's still going to do his podcast and everything. So, yeah, I don't think the Warriors are going to do anything. I think whoever said that he should be suspended that's just silly. I get that video changes a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because you see it versus you just hearing it. Like, we heard about Steve Kerr and Michael Jordan. We never saw Michael Jordan punch Steve Kerr. We always heard about it. We heard about Steve Smith punching that cornerback in training camp a few years ago. We never saw that. You know what I mean? With this thing, I'm going to treat it the same way. It's just nowadays, everybody's got access to video. Everybody's, people got money. They can acquire these things. And so with this, it's the same thing. I compare it to Aaron Donald in training camp earlier in the summer. It's much to do about nothing in regard to what to do with Draymond. I think the Warriors should take that and handle that in-house.
Yeah, I agree. Now, speaking of other should it be a suspension, Devontae Adams should definitely get suspended.
I agree with that.
He should definitely get suspended.
Yeah, and I think one game is enough.
Yeah, that's fine. But he should definitely get suspended.
Yeah,
and I heard the dude supposed to be pressing charges on him.
Yeah, I heard that too, and he has a right to do that.
Right,
he has a right to do that. I mean,
100%.
You can call him whatever, you can call him soft, but hey, if a nigga pushed me for no reason while I'm trying to walk with some equipment, and I don't know you, then yeah, I'm gonna sue your ass. Like,
I know who you are. You Devontae Adams, who's making $28 a year.
Well, yeah, I get that. I'm
suing that ass.
Yeah. Like, I don't know you personally, but I know you got bread.
Yeah, I'm suing that ass. I'm suing that ass.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, no question. Period. No question about that.
Yeah.
What did you think about since we're kind of talking about, I guess I'll classify it as beef.
This the messy section.
Messy stuff. Yeah. So what did you think about what Kyle Brandt said about Russell Wilson the morning after the the loss?
I don't know what he means by poser, but if I'm Russell Wilson, I'm pulling up. I don't know what that means.
I agree.
Poser. Who you talking? That. Like, see, I don't like. you could talk, or you could say what you want about his play, and we all agree Russell Wilson been playing like shit. That's cool. That is fine. What do you mean by poser? What does that mean?
But
I
more
don't know.
so, but more
Posing
so,
as what?
but more so when he said we was at the NFL honors, and when I tried to shake his hand, he wouldn't, like, he kind of like brushed me off. Like, yo, you sound like you petty. Like you want a platform where y'all supposed to be talking about this dude's game and how he played. And like you said, we agree he's playing like crap right now. But to kind of go that level and say that he's a poser, and then to say that he shunned you at an award show, like that sound like personal to me.
Yeah, well, it's definitely personal. I didn't hear the clip about, or I didn't catch the part about him talking about how he ain't shake his hand or whatever.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. I'm like,
if I'm Russell Wilson, bro, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you posing where? What do you mean?
I know what he means. I think I know what he means. I think he means that this persona that Russ has, portrayed throughout his career. That
because
fake.
I ain't shake your sucker ass hand.
No. Not forget the shaking the hand part. I'm talking about his persona. Like, he with Sierra, they be everywhere, and rightfully so. You with Sierra, then yeah, you got to be visible, right?
Well, why? What I'm getting at is, why do he feel like whoever he believes Russell Wilson to be, why does he believe that's a facade?
It's a very good question.
Right. So
it's a very good question.
So you feel like he a poser because he didn't shake your punk ass hand?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know what, like, because it's not like, I would assume, listening to you, he didn't bring up any examples of why he felt like he was a poser. Only thing he said was, he didn't shake my hand.
It's just the hand part, but
that's the only thing he mentioned. I'm just saying what I think he means by it, which I don't necessarily agree with. I don't think Russell Wilson is being phony when you see him, out and about with Sierra and away from the football field. Like I don't agree with that. But my thing is that if you're gonna say he's a poser, he not who he say he is, y'all, you would start saying, because when this happened, this happened.
Yeah.
And when this happens, that happens. And this is why I'm telling y'all that I know he be all, I'm the good guy, whatever. Got Shannon Crowder still hating on me, whatever.
Yeah.
But he not that dude that he presents himself to be, because these are some of the things he's done. And the only thing he's done in reference to that example I just gave was he didn't shake his hand. And you don't know why he didn't shake your hand. And on top of that, he ain't got to shake your punk ass hand.
Yeah, if I'm Russ, I got to go see this cat. I'm flying to New York, and I'm going to this nigga studio, and I'm going to be like, what up? Like,
I mean,
what's your problem with me?
I don't know or believe that to be in Russell Wilson's character, but a phone call is certainly serviceable, and I know he can get that done.
So Kyle Brandt, I think my memory's coming back to me in that clip, but he also made mention about how he left Seattle and he left the fans dry, he left the team dry, and he did the Seahawks dirty. And I'm like, no, he didn't. He didn't do the Seahawks dirty. Right. I mean, look, at the end of the day, your contracts aren't guaranteed. So if you got an opportunity to go elsewhere, make some money, then you got to make that move. You got to let it be known, hey, this ain't working. Y'all ain't put an offensive line there for me for all these years. Y'all ain't built this defense back up for me all these years. I'm the face of the franchise, and y'all not building around me. Yeah, I get it. He didn't leave the franchise dry. Right. If you ask me, I thought the franchise left him dry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then he immediately went to a team where he got more money, and I get they're not playing good right now, but got a defense around them, got two vicious ass receivers on there. Yep. I mean, the running game, whatever, but he don't got no slum. Javonte Williams, who's injured, I know, but
Melvin Gordon's got problems with the fumbles. Like that's been a big issue.
I'm just talking about when he signed to Denver. He had Javonte Williams, who's a promising back, and Melvin Gordon coming behind him, who he not trash. I mean, he's had some bad seasons for certain, but he ain't like complete trash.
Right.
He's a number 2 running back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so with a good defense, Surtain is one of the best young corners in the game. Bradley Chubb, one of the best pass rushers in the game. Like, they got a team that's on paper eons ahead of what Seattle got on paper.
Yeah. Well, and through 5 weeks, that hasn't necessarily been the case.
I get that, sure, and
on both
that's
sides,
cool.
on both sides,
sure,
really, because Geno
but
Smith, and I got to clap for Geno Smith because nobody saw this coming. I didn't even see this coming, but he's played some solid football.
Yeah, but yeah, for sure, and let's I agree with you. Let's clap that up. But it's like I heard somebody say on a podcast when Seattle beat Denver.
Yep.
It's like they said, Geno Smith fits that offense better than Russell Wilson does. So that's why you're seeing Geno Smith. You know, he not putting up like gaudy numbers, but he's putting up efficient numbers. Where Seattle look good, but Seattle looking like the offense is running better. Is what I've heard, is running better through Geno Smith than it ever has. It's just that Russell Wilson is a better quarterback talent than Geno Smith.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Those 2 games against, not to get off track here, but the 2 games against Detroit last week, and then the one they just played against the Saints, which were both shootouts, by the way, Geno Smith was way efficient in both those games. You know, one a win, one a loss, but still, the quarterback play from Geno has been, I give it an A, through 5 weeks for him. You know, this is great. Like, this is a renaissance, for Geno Smith, if you want to call it that.
I hope so for him. I'm not gonna pretend like I watched that much Geno Smith this year to say that, but I hope so for him.
Yeah, and the clips I've watched, man, he's been real efficient. And if you look at the numbers, I mean, they're his best. I mean, it's clearly his best numbers that I've seen.
But it's not like we have a lot to compare it to. He was trash in New York.
Sure, but that's why I say it's his best.
Yeah, sure.
It's by far his best. So
sure.
But to kind of get back to the Russ thing, he decided, hey, this ain't the place for me no more. I want to go, someplace else where there's a better roster construction. And, for Kyle Brandt to kind of bring all that up the morning after, and I get that was I watched that game, bro, and I'm not even going to ask you if you watched that game because I know you didn't watch that game. But I sat through that thing and was like, okay, it's 6-6. I mean, the game is boring, but at least in the fourth quarter, there's going to be some drama. And it was a 12-9 ball game.
Yeah.
And the next morning, this comes out and it's like come on, yo. Like if you want to drag somebody and not to drag them off the field, like talking about their personal life, but if you want to talk about somebody to blame for this game, you got to point at the coach, bro, cuz the coach don't look like he cut for this. Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah,
he don't look cut for this, bro. So there's that.
I'm definitely glad. I'm glad for that. I think that Thursday, I did whatever I had to do. Rolled one, got right, and when I got in my zone, I'm like, man, I'm not about to watch this game. I even tweeted I'm in my zone. I want to watch something funny, and Liz was like, yeah, watch Thursday Night Football. Shaw, you gonna blow my high. You gonna blow my high, Shaw.
Yeah, she watched it. She was like, yeah, I give credit to anybody that had to sit through and watch that. And I think the thing for me was the game played out the way I thought it was going to play out. So there was no surprises, and I even tweeted, hey, y'all, this is what was expected. Just, hang along for the ride because in the fourth quarter, it's going to be some drama. And the worst part of it all was that it went to overtime. Like, you sat through 4 quarters of, bullshit football, and now you got to get an extra 10 minutes of it. It's wild. It's
Good
wild.
on that. Yeah, I'm definitely good on that.
Yeah, yeah. Did you see this back and forth between Shady McCoy and RG3?
I didn't. I meant to try to see what you were talking about.
Yeah, so it kind of relates to the Broncos Colts game. So the morning after, um, there's this meme that's going around where I forget who the receiver's name is on the Broncos, but he's looking at Russell Wilson kind of awkwardly while Russell's on the
Kenny
bench.
Hamlin.
Kenny Hamlin, and,
Yeah.
and he was the dude that slammed his helmet right at the
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Because Russell missed him.
Yep, right. He was
Yeah,
wide open,
missed.
right.
Yeah.
So there was this meme going around, this morning, or that morning, and RG3 posted it and was like, like, yo, like, what's going on with you, Russ? Like, this is some of the worst quarterback we've seen from you, right? And so Shady McCoy comes in and was like, and started posting all his stats and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And was like, yo, bruh, like, your peak was at Baylor. Like, you had the one, rookie year in Washington, and then you just fell off, from that point on. Which Shady McCoy was right about, because that was clearly his best season. And then, the games played per year, that thing just started going down, each year after that.
You also right that was shady.
Yeah, exactly. And so RG3 fires back and was like, yo, you mad that I outrushed you in a few games that year? Or you mad that I got more touchdowns than you in some of those games, whatever? And at that point, in my opinion, I was like, yo, RG3, you got to sit this one out, bro. Because Shady McCoy was a better running back throughout his career than you were a quarterback throughout your career.
Sure, but here's the thing.
Yep.
RG3 criticizes Russell Wilson's football.
Yep.
And then Shady McCoy comes back criticizing him.
Mm-hmm.
No, like
yes.
Why? What is? It's not like RG3.
It's the why for you, right? It's the
why you coming at RG3 when RG3 is making good points, and it'd be one thing if Shady McCoy came disagreeing with him on a football perspective about Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
He came with the personal attack. That was a personal attack that Shady McCoy threw at RG3. Mm-hmm. If I'm listening to how you telling the story,
yeah,
and you know what I'm saying, that was a personal attack. What that got to do with what does my career have to do with what Russell Wilson doing right now?
Yeah. Shady McCoy been mouthing off lately since he's been on this show on Fox.
Yeah. He also is on the Brandon Marshall's podcast with him and
and Ocho Cinco, right?
Ocho Cinco now. I don't think Ocho there no more. But
really? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's him, Shady McCoy, Brandon Marshall, Shady McCoy, and Pac-Man Jones.
Got you.
Yeah. So yeah, like, bruh, the personal attack wasn't really necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you was just on there talking shit. Now, if you're just on there talking shit, all right, cool, whatever. Then the banter's, it's just banter. But
right.
I mean, that seems like unnecessary personal attack if we are just talking about football.
Yeah, because all RG3 did was he just said caption this, and then he posted the picture of Hamlin looking at Russell Wilson funny. That's all he did. And then Shady comes in and starts talking about, yo, like take it easy on him, whatever. So.
I mean, well, if when you put it like that, because I thought you were saying that RG3 was talking about football from he was clowning Russell Wilson. Yes, he was.
Yes.
He was. RG3 was clowning Russell Wilson. I thought you were saying he was talking about football, from a football perspective, not like a personal attack type of thing. Mm-hmm. But still, my response is Shady McCoy. Even still, he wasn't talking to you.
Right. Here was Shady's response. I got it right here. So here was Shady's response to the photo that RG3 posted. He said, "Damn, bro, take it easy on him. You experienced this moment a lot more than Russ did." So
okay.
So then,
all right. Well, I kind of walked that back then.
So then RG3 responds with the stats and stuff, like his stats, I guess on that particular game or whatever. and quite frankly, RG3 kind of hung himself out to dry a little bit because like, why are you posting your career stats? Which, I mean,
when you've only had one good year,
right? It's proving Shady's point, and so, but to kind of get to the end of that, Primetime Sanders, who also had a little situation go on this weekend, comes on Twitter and was like, "Yo, y'all homeboys need to cut it out with the back and forth, whatever."
Right.
And RG3 was like, "All right, bro, Prime, you the OG, you the GOAT. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna back off." And Shady was kind of like, "All right, you the OG, but for real though, RG3 been trash this whole time, and throughout his career, whatever." So Shady still was kind of digging a knife in there a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, because now when I'm listening to what you're saying, yeah, RG3 did personally attack Russell Wilson. It wasn't like something like malicious. It's kind of like the internet thing that people do.
He was having fun.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. But if Russell Wilson decided to say, "Hey, that's not funny," then it's on how it go down. So so I could see, but that still wasn't Shady McCoy business though. Damn, dropped my phone. Yeah, that still wasn't Shady McCoy business. So it's like, why you caping for Russell Wilson?
Yeah, Shady been talking a lot.
But that's what Shady do.
I know. He said something about so the game that the Chiefs lost against the Colts a few weeks ago. And you saw the clip where Mahomes and Bieniemy were kind of, having a little disagreement on the sideline at halftime, and Shady comes out on, I think it was IG, and was like, "Yo, Bieniemy, like, yo, you need to get up out of here, bro. Like, people saying like you call plays, and Shady was basically saying, yo, Bieniemy don't do nothing for that offense. He's saying, yo, it's all Andy Reid, whatever." Yeah, and it's like damn. Shady, like, this nigga been trying to get a head coaching job.
Why you coming?
But 3 years. Why are you coming at him?
If you believe that, if that's your truth and that's what you believe is happening, why do you get to attack Eric Bieniemy? Yeah. But for you, it's not okay for RG3 to attack Russell Wilson.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Shady been mouthing off these past few weeks, and I heard you say that he's always been like that.
Like, he's been, like, from the interviews I've seen, because I've seen a few episodes since he's been on I Am Athlete. Yep. Seen him on I want to say it was Breakfast Club. I seen him on Joe Budden before. Mm-hmm. Like he talks spicy. Like, he definitely, that's what he do. Yeah. So all right, cool. If that's who you are, cool. Yeah. For me, it's just like, all right, but if you get to criticize somebody how you want to do it, why RG3 can't do it? Or did you just want to have something to say to RG3?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't like what he said about Bieniemy, even though I do understand that he's been in that locker room, so if anybody knows, he would know.
And more than that, this isn't the first time it's been said. About Eric Bieniemy. Right. Some people say that that's why he ain't got a job yet. I've heard that as well. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what's real and what's fake. I know that at one point he was one of the high prospects to get a coaching job, and out of as the time went on, that he's not wanted anymore. Right. That seems to be the issue.
So you got to school me in on this Dion versus Eddie Robinson thing. Like, what was the deal with that?
Well, in short, because I guess Alabama State played Jackson State. Yep. Jackson State handled Alabama State, to my understanding. I don't really watch college football. Mm-hmm. Handled them. They go to shake hands, and Dion, he dap him up, but then he go in for a hug. Yep.
And he stopped him. And he stopped him, put his hand in his chest. Yeah, right?
Dion smacked his hand and whatever. Yep. Slim went on his post game and was like, basically, Dion been talking spicy all week. Mm-hmm. Leading into the game. Yeah. When he got onto the field, He never came and spoke to me pregame. He walked all the way around the field.
Yep.
He never came to speak to me. Nothing. Whoop whoop whoop. Then, uh, and they ran a hit. Like the game was out of hand. They throw instead of like down in the ball, letting the time clock. They still playing ball. Like
Yeah.
they threw a bomb. They threw a bomb when the game. Like I believe he said they threw a bomb with 40 seconds left in the game. Jackson State threw a bomb on Alabama State. I think they even completed it and scored, if
Okay.
I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But they twisted the knife in the victory.
Yeah.
So he was salty about all those things.
Okay.
Basically went on like said the quote that's going around, Dion, he ain't SWAC. He don't represent that conference. I'm forgetting the dude's name. I'm forgetting the other coach's name. What's the coach's name? Not Dion, the other guy.
Eddie Robinson.
Eddie Robinson. I'm sorry, Eddie Robinson Jr.
Mm-hmm.
He's not like he represents that conference in a better manner than Dion did, obviously because he's been there, that type of thing.
Experience. Yeah.
Dion responded with, "I always walk the entire field.
Mm-hmm.
I never go, talk to the coaches before the game.
Right.
Even went on to post videos from prior games where Dion walks all around the state, and does, going through his routine.
Mm-hmm.
So he don't know what he's talking about. He also went on to say that late in the game,
Mm-hmm.
Alabama State was blitzing.
Yep.
At like the game is over, like as far as
Right.
score wise, they're not coming back,
Mm-hmm.
and those dudes were still blitzing.
Right.
So if you go and blitz me, it makes sense for me to take advantage of you blitzing.
Yep.
It keeps players healthy, that type of thing. Like get
Right.
it out, get it out.
That's
You know what
right.
I'm saying? Get them
That's
to back
right.
a ball for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know who's telling the truth and who not. But that's the situation. For me, sorry, Eddie Robinson Jr., I don't know you. I know prime time Deion Sanders. And where I stand with it is I know prime time, and prime is right until I'm proven wrong.
Well, I'm not a big college football, watcher either. I mean, if it's like a big game that everybody's talking about, I'll maybe, watch it, every now and then. But from what it sounded like, Dion had his receipts. And, if you got video of you, doing your routine and the opposing coaches are cool with that, like at the end of the game and they shake hands and stuff.
And
like,
I don't give a damn what the opposing coaches do. I do what I want to do.
No. I get
Yeah,
that.
but I hear you.
I'm just saying that if the other coaches don't have an issue with his routine, then hey, it's cool. Dion can continue this routine and however they feel about it, however Eddie Robinson feels about it, Dion is just gonna continue to be Dion. So
Dion is Dion, bro, and I will say this: Eddie Robinson didn't like act like Dion wasn't Dion. He was like, I appreciate what he's doing.
Yep.
His son should be in the Heisman running. Mm-hmm. I know who he is as a player. He a legend and all that.
Yep.
But you wronged me. This is Eddie Robinson. You wronged me, and I felt a way about it.
Yep.
So let's be clear that Eddie Robinson didn't like he felt like he was wronged. Mm-hmm. And that's why he gave the energy that he gave. So I'm cool with the energy that he gave him, and I'm cool with how Dion handled it. But I'm going to believe Dion that's what Dion does. It wasn't nothing malicious. Even when they asked Dion about him talking spicy during the week, and Dion said, "Well, I feel like I did my job. Like my what I do, and the reason why Dion is Dion." To college football is because I'm trying to get asses in the seats. That game was sold out, and I like to think that it was sold out in part because I was talking spicy all week. You know what I'm saying? It's jive wrestling in a respect because we know what Dion trying to do with that conference and with HBCUs in college football.
Right.
So he going, add a little spice to some of the things he's doing because he's trying to up the stock in HBCUs.
Right. So, and it's prime time. It's prime time.
I'm rolling.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm rolling with Dion. I'm rolling with Dion. With respect to Eddie Robinson, by the way, who is also a legend in this college football thing.
Yeah.
But I'm rocking with Dion on that one.
I ain't gonna front. When I saw the gesture that Eddie Robinson did to stop Dion from hugging him, it made me think about a few of the Wayans brothers episodes, because Marlon used to do that in a few of those episodes, back in the day. It just, I don't know, it just made me think about that show when I saw that what Eddie Robinson did there. But man, it's time to roll out, man.
Yeah.
I think we had a good show, man.
I'm hungry as hell, bro.
Man, I came home. It was right back outside, take the kids to practice and come back and prep, bro.
I realized I didn't even eat lunch, so I'm hungry as hell.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. We just want to give a special shout out to Nikki Gist again for coming on.
Salute.
Make sure y'all check her stuff out on Twitter and her other social media platforms. Big thanks to the folks in the YouTube live chat, Facebook live chat. If you're watching on Twitter, thank you so much for watching as well. Don't forget, folks, just follow us on those social media platforms. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click the like button on the Facebook page. You can follow us on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. You can also follow us on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. And if you got questions or comments about the show, you can email us at barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. So, another one in the books, bruh. Can't wait for the next one, man. Y'all have a blessed week. We'll be back next week with another dope episode. Peace. One love.
Peace.
Recording stopped.